Nutrition simply means the journey of food from the mouth to the anus. Today, most youngsters who come to me don't know the direction of the kitchen. Very small percentage of people come to me saying, I'm healthy. I just want to be in this state. Can you help me or guide me or tell me where I'm going wrong or what else can I do? Food alone cannot do. See, any amount of changes you do with the food and you have a very bad lifestyle, how much can it help? Isn't it? So then I started telling, okay, I am just not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I need to take care of their lifestyle also. You're talking about very simple issues. They come with probably diabetes. Most of the problems majorly I see is diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, obesity. And today in youngsters, I also see a lot of mental disorders, right, from depression, anxiety. That is very sad to see in the youngsters, but anything, as I said, from gut disorder to cancer, anybody can come with a combination of these. But generally, what I see today is any disorder they come with, the underlying one common thing is gut. That is very important for the human system. I am just coming from the science point of view right now, okay? It is very important. Fat is absolutely essential for my brain to work properly, for my nervous system to work properly.
Welcome to the Life Grids conversation. It's a beautiful day, and we are going to talk a lot of useful things day to day. Yes, whatever we do every day, that is what we are going to discuss right now with Dr. Gauri Rokam. She is one amazing personality. I've been behind her life to have her on this conversation, and I'm so happy that today we are going to have this conversation everything about food, nutrition, and her specialities. You know, she has done a PhD in coconut. We will know about that too. What can anybody do a PhD in coconut? We've been grown with it. We know that, like everything. But then, if there is something that can be researched and a paper can be written, we are interested definitely. And how is that going to help us in our daily life? So, welcome, Dr. Gauri Rokam.
Thank you so much for having me today.
It's such a pleasure. So, I'm going to ask a very, very basic question. When I grew up, I never knew that there is a profession called nutritionist. What does a nutritionist do?
Okay. Basically, see, nutrition simply means the journey of food from the mouth to the anus.
Okay.
So we study what happens to this food from the mouth to the anus
Okay.
in health and in ill health. And we prescribe what to eat, what not to eat, and to be healthy, to prevent diseases, or if you have a problem, any illness, any disease, how do you get rid of it? Through food. And this is our specialization.
Okay, but isn't this what our grandmothers and mothers were doing? They knew what I should eat because even at home, we were two people, two children, or even my grandmother who had 11 children. She knew, okay, for him, buttermilk is not okay. For you, milk was not okay. For somebody, sweet. She knew everything. What do you think happened? Today, we are in need of a nutritionist to know what our body needs.
Probably we have lost that information which my grandmother and her mother had. And that's exactly because they had that many children and there was a lab at home only, right?
Right.
They knew by experience what to give, what not to give, and what suits whom, because they had taken care of so many people at home. It was not just about her children or 6 or 8 or 10. It was about a huge joint family,
Yes.
which everybody knew how to take care of everything. And probably that is lost in the last 2 generations.
Yeah.
And we have to, depend on an expert outside because we don't know the basic cooking itself. Forget about getting the nutrition or the nutrients in your food. Today, most youngsters who come to me don't know the direction of the kitchen in their house.
My God, that is a shocker for me when you're...
Absolutely. Because see, both husband and wife work.
Huh.
They go early in the morning, come back late in the night. Who's going to sit and cook at home? So they have huge, beautiful spreads in the office, every cuisine available. Then why do I sit and work hard or do the cooking at home, because I'm sure as a lady you will understand how difficult it is to take care of a house, to take care of a family, children, cooking, whatever, every aspect of the house is a full-time job, if you ask me, right? You have a full-time profession to do, and then a full-time or overtime work to take care at home is not fair for anybody for that matter. So basically, slowly things have changed and it has come to
But
this
then-
state.
Outsourcing kitchen. Do you think that is scalable and is that good for
That's why we are in the state of different kinds of diseases in the society. Did you see all these kinds of diseases in your grandmother's time? No, right? Every day there is a new disease being added. We don't even know the name of those diseases. That is why.
So in one side you're saying the young children, the younger ones, maybe from 18 who have started working, they don't have time because they're focusing on their studies and their things, so they don't even know the basics of cooking.
Absolutely.
One side you're saying it's fine, someone has to do, so you're outsourcing, but then that again comes back and hurts their own health.
Absolutely. The day we realize this much, then we'll have to take charge of our homes and kitchens and our food. It is not for this one person to take care like we did earlier, right? It is for everybody who's living together as a family. It could be the spouse, it could be the children, it could be the parents. Everybody has to take part in taking responsibility and taking care of the cooking or the kitchen or the buying or the eating. Everything is such a beautiful exercise. Only when you realize that this part of the life also is important. Otherwise, we are just running behind name, money and fame, right? So this part gets neglected.
That beautiful memory of my mother making a list every month of the grocery. It is like rice, da kilo, dal, this much thing, this parpa. That itself will have some 5-6 varieties. That is where, and when she used to have us around, we will say, what is this? You wrote 5 types of parpa. What? That is when we realized in dal itself we have ashta bele. There are so many types of thing, and this will look like that. And it was like it was not like a education. It was
Absolutely. You
just
simply learned it by, even without understanding or knowing what you're doing.
But today
Just learnt it.
that listing is gone, right?
Yeah.
Monthly one listing, because today we can have the quick commerce apps. You just then you realize you want it, you will get it in 10 minutes. So basically the planning to make food and everything is lost. And this is what you see in your day-to-day life.
Absolutely. See, for that listing, to sit and list something once in a month, what is there, what is not there, what do I need? To sit and list also, do you not need some time and effort?
Definitely lot of effort.
On a daily basis, I need to keep checking what is there, what is not there. From dal to rice to vegetable, isn't it?
Yes.
It is such an important task and it takes some time and attention of mine. So, it is necessary, and because it takes time and effort, today people think going, quick
not
way is easier.
Ordering in case if the mostly used app as the food ordering app, but then in case if they decide to cook also, it would be like then and there you want something,
Absolutely.
you buy all the package. It's no more like you buy it in like tamarind and all was bought for a year.
Yeah, and they stored it. Yeah. Today you
It's science between science around buying large quantity of tamarind then and now. Is there any difference how it will impact?
See, the whole point probably was in a particular season, particular food was grown even one generation back, right? There was a specific line between seasons.
Right.
What grew in a specific season, nature knows what is necessary for the body, and soil knows what it can grow in that particular season. So that is what was harvested at that particular time. And our grandparents probably bought it at that time when it was harvested, because that is the cheapest you can get, right? The rest of the year it was not. But today's children are not interested in paying another 100 rupees more. They are not bothered. That 10 minutes is what makes them think, right?
Then
That's the time. Yeah.
They're not ready to wait for the 10 minutes. 7th minute they need it, or why is
2 minutes. That's why everything comes home in 2 minutes. And that is what spoils us finally.
this is how is your clientele, how on what basis is the first time they reach out to you?
Honestly speaking, very small percentage of people come to me saying, I'm healthy. I just want to be in this state. Can you help me or guide me or tell me where I'm going wrong or what else can I do. This is a very, very, very small
So
percentage of
almost everyone come like, I have a
everybody.
problem.
Absolutely. Not a problem, madam. It is a dozen problem, a complicated, complex issues where they cannot understand, they can't find solutions. They've run from pillar to post and they're tired now. They're sick of the suffering and the pain. And that is when they'll think, okay, let me take some
So
responsibility.
not even one problem will wake them up.
Not really at all. Because, see, today's time, it is the nature of the mind for that matter. It looks for pleasures. And what kind of pleasures?
Quick.
Immediate pleasure. And that is what hooks us on to, okay, it is still manageable, right? I still can manage. I can go to office. I can do my daily work, somehow manage. So they'll keep managing till it comes to a point where you can't manage anymore. Then only they can think of us.
So it is kind of the last mile, the last resort. And that is when they realize also,
Yes.
maybe my food, maybe I should consider.
True.
Because first, if I get a pain or if anybody gets any uncomfort, first they visit doctor.
Yes.
So it's again chemical load and all these things. They don't think about food. Though the doctors keep saying eat sensible. That's all they will say. They're not nutritionists. They are specialized in their own thing. Whether Ayurveda or homeopathy or even the modern medicine, they say eat well, hydrate well, the basics, keep yourself fit.
Yes.
Keep yourself moving. But then the nutrition, the specialist part is what you handle. So you will be an ally for every doctors or in the medical field. Without you, whatever they treat, it will come back, right?
Absolutely, you're right. But the whole point is allopathy treats symptoms, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes.
You have to get rid of your symptoms. I have come with the pain, I have come with the high blood sugar, I have come with high blood pressure. The symptoms have to go. That's all, right?
Correct.
But when it comes to a nutritionist, I think our responsibility lies even more deeper to find the cause for that high blood pressure, cause for that high blood sugar, or cause for the pain, and make them understand where they're going wrong and correct the cause and not deal with the symptoms. And that's exactly what I do.
I'm a little confused. Now, when I go to an Ayurveda practitioner, they also do that symptom-based root cause and they give treatments and they recommend something. Homeopathy also does the root cause. Yeah, true. Allopathy, we need it like a first aid. They just treat. If I have a pain, first let me get rid of the pain. Because that's how today integrated medicine also work. You treat with your symptom completely and then you come back. So is nutrition as a field, as an industry today, which is booming, and that we're all happy because we outsource kitchen. At least we have mentors like you. We have responsible people like you to guide the generation coming forward. Where do you associate yourself as a nutritionist? Are you common for all the system of medicine, or can you explain yourself?
See, it depends. Now, when I finished my master's in food and nutrition, I was trained to find where is the problem based on the doctor's diagnosis. And to that problem, what do I give? Do I give a nutrition therapy? Do I give special foods? Do I give extracts? Do I give supplements? How do I handle the situation?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But very soon I realized this is not the right thing to do because it's very mechanistic. It is very reductionist. And see, the human body and the food for that matter are hugely complex. And when we are dealing with complex systems, we cannot isolate certain parts, like breaking down human system into its organ systems and food into its components.
Proteins.
Absolutely. This problem give this. That problem give another thing. This doesn't work because they're complex. When they're complex, they work in synergy with their own components and each other. Now, to get the desired results, isolating them and treating doesn't work. It has to be holistic. That is why I call myself a holistic nutritionist, because I consider the whole human system as one and food as wholesome as possible. And when these two happen, something magical happens. That is when you actually can deal with the cause and get rid of the causes to reach health.
Ideally, people can benefit so much when they are fully healthy and come to you. they can become super healthy or superhuman, ideally, right?
No, this also works because we can reverse diseases. That's all. It's
Just
as
with
simple
food?
as that. Absolutely. Not just with food. Very soon I realized that food alone cannot do.
Okay.
See, any amount of changes you do with the food
Huh.
and you have a very bad lifestyle, how much can it help? Isn't it? So then I started telling, okay, I am just not a nutritionist or a dietitian. I need to take care of their lifestyle also. Then I added that into my practice and I got better results. And very, very soon I realized this is also not enough.
Hmm.
Lifestyle and food can become a major part and give a great result, but can't reverse diseases. Why? Because what happens in the mind is the most important thing. What happens in the mind can change the biochemistry immediately, instantly. And if something wrong is happening there, any amount of drama you do elsewhere is not going to reach there.
So, how much of a healthy I eat is not going to help if this is not.
Absolutely. That's why I work in 3 areas. Ahara, the food, Vihara, the lifestyle, and the Vichara, the mind space. When we do work on all the 3 areas, that is when I see my clients becoming completely healthy, reversing all their diseases, and becoming happy and peaceful. And that's my goal.
Nice. You also told there is nutrition, there is dietitian. Can you please help us understand the difference between these two?
Right. See, a dietitian, this is a title legally given to somebody who has completed their education and got their degrees legally.
Okay.
Right. And so this person who is given a degree is entitled to given the modern medical nutrition therapy.
Okay.
Nutrition therapy, she is able to give diets
Okay.
for different diseases and disorders.
Okay.
But a nutritionist
Huh.
understands a lot, done random courses in nutrition, understands food, human system, anything of that kind.
Okay.
So she can be called a nutritionist. She can help. But legally, only a dietitian is supposed to be giving out diets and therapies.
Okay.
But I prefer to call myself a nutritionist, not a dietitian, in spite of having a degree, master's degree, and a PhD, because I don't believe this mechanistic, reductionist theories, and I don't want to prescribe diets for different diseases. I want to look at human system as one whole unit, and I have to bring back the balance and harmony in the system. And that's why I call myself a nutritionist rather than a dietitian.
Beautiful. Because dietitian we always associated with very few places, either in the hospitals.
Yeah.
Or nowadays they call themselves nutritionists, but still they are dietitians because in the workout where means you do your gym, they say, do you have a dietitian or a nutritionist? Then because you work out and whatever the table they gave, that is what we are supposed. Either you have an objective, bodybuilding or becoming lean or losing weight, everything there is a. So it's a beautiful difference.
Yes.
What is nutrition and
dietetics.
Yeah.
But in India, more or less, they overlap because we study both when we study, whether in a degree or master's degree. They do overlap, but in different countries, especially in the West, they are absolutely different. They are very demarcated.
Okay.
But here it does overlap because we do study, but I prefer to call myself
a nutritionist.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to the same question where you said it's not a very rare that a healthy person comes to you and say that I want to be healthy forever. Please guide me. But you said the problems, and it is not single, it is many. Can you tell us on what kind of different diseases they come to you? Some case study that they've come.
Any problem, right from cold to cancer, they come and see me. And generally, it will be a combination. Nobody has one single, not one problem. They come with a combination problems.
For example, if a person has a headache, I have consistent headache. So they come to you, I have consistent headache, and I'm probably, they say that I have a loose bowels or something. So these gets combined and then they come to you.
You're talking about very simple issues.
Okay.
They come with probably diabetes. Most of the problems majorly I see is diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, hypertension, obesity. And today in youngsters, I also see a lot of mental disorders, right? From depression, anxiety. That is very sad to see in the youngsters. But anything, as I said, from gut disorder to cancer, anybody can come with a combination of these. But generally what I see today is any disorder they come with, the underlying One common thing is gut.
Ah.
90% of the people have ruined their guts. And I would say it started there, long time back, 2 decades, 3 decades back, which they didn't bother about, which has complicated things for
So
them.
when you say gut, how do they verbalize it? What problem do they tell you?
Okay, it could be as simple as I don't get hungry, to
Uh-huh.
indigestion, gastritis, bloating, then constipation, or hemorrhoids, or
Hmm.
anything for that matter, gas, flatulence, can't eat. Anything I eat, I feel bloated, I feel very heavy. All these are small, simple things,
Yes.
but a lot of things, and this is what ruins their day. It might sound simple.
It might
but-
sound
yeah.
one fart spoils your entire promotion.
Yeah, no, even the feeling, that bloated feeling, heaviness in your
You
stomach,
can't focus on the
doesn't
meeting.
allow you to do your day-to-day activities calmly and peacefully, right? So everything is a matter. It could be a simple cold, but you have a heavy head, your nose is blocked, you're sitting in the AC and working, and it is a pain. You can't just push away that it is a common cold. No, from common cold to everything, it matters,
Mm.
and whoever is going through knows what that means.
Oh, yeah, definitely. One small pain in your little finger can
Mm.
spoil, but then a gut health, which is the foundation for all the problems.
Absolutely.
A small gut health, which we ignore by having something, but then the same indigestion problem was treated differently decades back.
Mhm.
Depending on what kind of, only that again, like I don't know what magic the mothers and grandmothers and grandmothers they had. They would know whether to give the buttermilk and mentia
Mhm.
or the buttermilk and the hing.
Hmm.
On what basis they chose between? Is it like a random, or does it have any symptoms so that they decided between a buttermilk and jeera,
Hmm.
or buttermilk with mentia, or buttermilk with hing?
Okay. I might not be able to answer a specific for your 3 questions, but what I would presume is basically they were eating to a large extent well.
Yeah.
They were having a good lifestyle,
Huh.
and peace was always there, calm mind, because all these 3 fundamentals were to a large extent right. Something simple at home,
Huh.
like your mante or jirge or whatever,
Huh.
worked for them, and they took care at that point. Today it doesn't happen like that. Everything is ruined. You don't eat right, you don't live right, you have constant 24/7 stress, and eat mentia and solve it? No, please don't tell me.
I get so much, when I'm listening to you, I can understand that helplessness. Why are people spoiling their? I can feel that motherly care and also an anger. I can feel the anger in your voice, and I think you really care and you want people to eat healthy. So we'll come back then to the basics.
Mhm.
We South Indians, so let's start there. We had a very simple home cooked, daily, every day, the boring rasam, rice, dal, or one palya or one sambar and one goju. This is all. We didn't have very fancy stuff. Maida and all was bought for some specific occasion. I know for people, the younger community, to look like which zamana you're talking about. This is not where we live. But that's how it was so boring. The same uppittu 3 times a day. Sorry, not 3 times a day, 3
Week.
times a week.
Probably, yeah.
But it was the same rasam, maybe different varieties. Tomato rasam, tamarind rasam.
Mm.
That is all, but the rasam was all same. And we also mostly ate on plates or the leaves.
Yeah.
Can we start from there? Basic food, why was it so monotonous, and why was it that we preferred eating in the balele, which is the plantain leaf?
Okay, now see, where shall I start? I'm just thinking. Just like you made a statement, even though it was boring, you never thought so, right? You went on.
I didn't have a choice.
But now today your children have a choice.
They can
That is
order.
where the
They can
problem
go
starts. Exactly. When I was a child, if I wanted to eat one particular dish, I had to tell my mother, and she would say, I have to buy this ingredient from here, this ingredient from there, another one from somewhere else. And it would take her minimum a week to buy all of that and bring it home. And then when she had free time, she made it. So what did I do? For that favorite dish of mine, which I'm asked, I waited for a week or 10 days. Isn't it? Today, can you do that? It is instant gratification.
10 minutes.
I think of it even before the thought is completed in my head, it'll be on my plate.
We all have a genie.
Yeah, that is the problem. That is the problem.
So what do you think worked then with this boring stuff?
We never felt it was boring because even though you have one is you don't have a choice, right?
Yes.
But even in that, today is carrot palya, tomorrow it is beans palya, day after tomorrow it is some other palya, right? It is the palya only, but it is different palyas.
Yes.
So you enjoyed it.
And greens was the worst day. The punishment day was the green soppu. They make palya.
But that is what is going to make your health. So understanding the knowledge of all this whys and whats and hows is what a nutritionist has understood, and that is what is translated into food and help you understand. Once you understand why you eat, what you eat and how you eat, then it brings in a different sense of gratefulness into your plate. And I think that is what makes you enjoy what you have on your plate.
The same boring food, but on festivals, it will be like real festival, food festival. Your leaf festivals, it was leaves. It was never the plates, and it was full. You have start with kosamri, 2 types of kosamri and 2 types of palya. South Indian people will understand. Any habba, any festival, this is how you do that. It is like all this, and it starts with salt and the pickle, and then you 2 types of palyas, veg puriyal, what do you call? And then you had goj. Can you deconstruct this for us? Why was it like? I'm sure you would have you understood the science between the modern food, which we are just fast food, quickly we eat, and the elaborate meals where the food was the only thing that we were, no distraction.
Yeah.
Today, modern food is always accompanied. I call it Cocomelon food. You need a mobile. You need to scroll. The children need Cocomelon videos. Today, we need something else which is much more faster. So today's food is always served with a mobile menu. It is, but there at that time the food was so elaborate. It was. Today, the kids are not able to eat such elaborate meals.
Now, I don't know where and how to answer your question, but let me try. See, one is when we talk about a healthy, balanced meal, every meal we eat should have all the nutrients required by the body, right? What are the major nutrients required by the body? There are only 7 nutrients required by the body. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, fiber and water. There is no 8th requirement, and all the 7 has to be present in our plate every time you pick up a plate to eat.
All 3 times?
All 3 times, 365 days. Every time you want to eat a meal, all of them should be present. Only then you can be healthy. How do I get all the 7 onto my plate? Very simple. There should be 4 food groups in your plate. The first one is a grain.
Okay, rice.
The second one, second one is a gram or a dal.
Okay, we can say sambar or
absolutely
rasam. Okay.
The third one is vegetables and green leafy vegetables cooked. And the fourth one is vegetables and green leafy vegetables raw. If you get these 4 food groups on your plate,
you're done. The kosamri.
That's exactly what you're trying to tell.
The OG salad.
Yeah, right? So what are you talking when I say these? Now when I say grain, what is it? It could be your idli, it could be your dosa, it could be your paratha, it could be your roti, it could be rice, it could be upma, it could be poha. Anything you make with a grain or a grain product is the first part of your plate.
Okay.
And the second part of your plate, when I say dal or gram, how do you translate it into food? Never look in the, parts of nutrients. No, never.
Don't see dal as protein.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Now the plate of the second part of your plate is dal or gram. What do? You can have a kosamri with sprouts. You can make a paisam. You can make a dal. You can make a sambar. You can make rasam. You can make kuttu. Do what you want. But second part of the plate should have some gram or dal.
Okay.
And the
Right.
third part with a lot of vegetables, varieties of vegetables, colors of vegetables, and green leafy vegetables. What do? You either mix the second and third part and make it into kutu or sambar or dal or whatever, or make a different palya, what we call in Kannada, or poriyal in Tamil, or curry or sabzi. So that is your third part. And fourth part, eat it with a salad. That is exactly what you're talking, kosamri. This is what was traditionally cooked, and not just in South India. You go anywhere in India, east, west, north, south, traditionally, they had all these four parts. And every time you eat these four parts is when your meal becomes complete, healthy, and balanced.
So beautiful. So you said that generally our festival food was very balanced, and in a very simple sense, even our daily food was fully balanced. Even with the basic, which we'll get a lot of not so likes for the idli and chutney, but that is also, you said, only thing is we may have to add few more elements, but that also can become a balance. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, ideally our traditional meal was balanced. We didn't have to pick up proteins and carbs and fibers.
Absolutely. That's the whole problem. People today look at their plates as protein, carbs, vitamins, and minerals, and we get into trouble. That's none of your business. It is my business as a nutritionist to see if you're getting all your nutrients. You shouldn't be looking at it as nutrients. If you can look it as food and give that value for the food and eat with gratitude, how much has gone in for that plate of food to come in front of us?
Dr.
Right?
Gauri, I'll be
From-
grateful if
Yeah.
the same food is also a nice gulab jamun or a jalebi.
Yeah.
And you know that murk, nippat and samosa. So are you saying that this is also something we need as a nutritionist?
Well, if I say this is poison in the bottle, but it tastes absolutely wonderful, what would you want? Would you want to drink it?
No, obviously not.
So you'll have to understand what goes into all the foods which you're talking about. Are they healthy to me? Not healthy to me? Once you understand that, then the choice is left to you and you'll make the right choice.
But then, again, tradition. I'll go back to tradition because nutrition somewhere started, we forgot, and then you're all coming in and helping us. Deepavali, Pongal, they made amazing sweets which we will all wait for. Where we will be waiting for all those things. Deepavali, first they give that lehyam. That was a tradition in South India where you eat first thing is like something very, very spicy, which is, they say it is a lehya. But then after that, you're like completely pampered for the whole day of all different types of sweets. Traditionally, that sajjappa and ladu, so many things, so many, I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But then again, snacks also. So was it good because, or was it even accepted because it was done only very specific days and we didn't have an access? Obviously, we didn't have an access every day. It was not like I go pay something, I get a nippat. Those days we have to wait for our home parents and all these people to make this. So was it okay because it was available lesser days of a year?
I think you answered your question also. Absolutely, yes. How many festivals? In a year, probably a dozen festivals.
India is all about festivals, no?
Yeah, but still, how many can you count? Any culture you take, not more than a dozen or a little more of them.
So monthly
In a
once.
year, if you eat that way, once in a way, that was probably still okay. But look at the conditions then. They had a lot of physical activity. The food they grew was very, very fresh and they got it locally. They had a much, much cleaner, fertile soil. The food which came out had much more better nutrition. Then the environment was clean and pure. Everything, the stresses were not there.
So the
So
festivals,
it adds to everything. And so when they ate something unhealthy in small quantities very infrequently, they could still stay healthy, right?
so
today
festivals
it's
were more
not.
like a cheat days.
I wouldn't say that at all. You tell me, you would want to cheat somebody else. Do you want to cheat yourself also? I can't understand this word or the term called cheat day or cheat meal. Why would I want to cheat myself? I would never want to cheat myself, right?
No, I'm
I'm not.
depriving so much of
You
tasty
think
stuff.
so. You think so. Even when we abuse the body, for a large extent, to a long time, body is intelligent and is capable to correct things, repair things, and bring it back to health. Every time I do something, it'll bring it back to health, bring it back. But how long? Because those abuses were very infrequent and in small quantities,
Yes.
we were able to manage. But now, we have spoken till now, right? It's just a minute's business. But sadly, the whole problem is we associate all the unhealthy stuff to love, to something to celebrate, right? Every celebration, every happy occasion, everything which you want to express with love
Food.
brings in unhealthy food. That is the problem. So we need to relearn this to make it into healthier stuff. And for that, you have to understand, why is it healthy? Why is it unhealthy? What is healthy? What is unhealthy?
So
And
why,
then you can make
why rasgulla for a Bengali and why Mysore pa for a South Indian?
Probably they get a lot of dairy, which we didn't. And maybe it was over a period of time. I'm not the right person to answer. I'm just making a guess.
Okay.
So what was available locally and what, earlier, long time back, I'm not talking about 50, 80 years, when there was no transportation, when there was no freezers, there was no cold storage, transportation itself was a pain, right?
Yes.
So you couldn't transport one thing to another, even beyond 100 kilometers probably.
True.
And that's the right way of eating. If you have to eat right, you have to eat something which is grown locally around where you live. That is the Mother Earth which knows what you need, and that is the soil which produces the right thing.
So how about a matcha tea?
Absolutely is not a great idea to eat or drink anything grown beyond, or which is available beyond your geographical areas. It is very important. But again, once in a way, a little maybe is a good idea. But
So-
I am a little,
You're
you
not-
might call me an extreme, but I am ready to be extreme if I have to take care of my health.
For your body's health, you're ready to go to anything which is right way. We were talking just because matcha came into the thing. Green tea is something they say associate with good health, losing weight, and good gut health also. So many benefits, green tea. Is there any benefit?
Okay, let me put it the other way around. If I can get whatever you listed, generally it is the antioxidants which we get from the green tea, which is spoken about. If I can get the same antioxidants from my fruits, my vegetables, my green leafy vegetables, why depend on tea, which is addictive, which is not going to give me anything else? It is just going to give me a kick, right? Now, for example, if I have to explain more, a coffee or a tea or nicotine or alcohol or drugs, what are they doing? They're not giving me any health. They're not giving me any nutrition.
They're enabling
But-
or triggering some hormones.
Exactly. No.
Happy
See,
hormones.
I feel bored. If I have a cup of tea, it gives me some kick, right?
Yeah.
If I feel low on energy, I drink a cup of tea or coffee, I feel energetic.
Yes.
I'm feeling sleepy, I drink a cup of coffee or tea, then I can carry on with my work.
Right.
Right? This is the kick which it gives me, and that is why I want to go back there.
Yes. Yes.
But-
yes.
Again, going back to my answer, if I say, if you eat a healthy, balanced meal day in and day out, all 3 meals, you're energetic through the day, you never feel bored or low on energy, and you don't feel sleepy in the time, then where there is a need for a coffee or a tea or an alcohol, tell me.
But practically, let me represent many. Easier said than done. Of course, I would love to eat a balanced meal. If somebody can provide me the proper healthy meal, plate I'll eat too. If somebody can give it to me, yeah, very happy. I'll bless them also. Ultimate, whatever. And it should not be too expensive also. But then, see, it is not going. Though I wish we started a conversation, I don't have time to make my meal so balanced. You are asking me to eat fresh. You are asking me to see the 4 food groups in my plate. Where do I have time? Is there any fix for this? How do I cook simple, quick meals which can give me all these things so that I will not depend on tea or coffee?
Absolutely. That's a wonderful question. Thank you for asking for that. Now, when I said 4 different things, I don't mean you have to make one elaborate anything of that kind. It could be as simple as, like, for me, I get a lot of overseas clients, youngsters from every part of the world. I'll teach them. The first thing is very simple. Shall I put all the 4 and make one dish? Why not make khichdi? You have your rice, you have your dal. Put any dal you want and you like. They have no fixation there at all. Add lot of vegetables, add lot of greens. Put all of them in the cooker and close it, and your khichdi is done. Your bisibelebath is done, isn't it? And eat it with tomato or cucumber or radish or onion or whatever you want.
The fourth one, the raw veg, that food group.
Absolutely. That is the way to design your food. Think in the terms of food. Don't think in the terms of nutrition.
Okay.
That's the whole point. Now let me ask you dosa, right? Now, how do I bring all the 4 parts into dosa? You tell me. What is the first part?
Rice.
You have got in the dosa batter?
Grain, yes.
What is the second part?
The urad dal.
Yeah, is there in the dosa batter?
Yes.
Okay. What is the third part?
I'll make some chutney or sambar.
Make both chutney and sambar. You have all the 4 parts. What is it missing, you tell me? Isn't it? You've been eating, but without any conscious understanding of it. You just have to have the 4 parts. And
but my dosa, when I have it in my thing, I don't feel like eating the salad. So is it okay?
It is not like, do you like, do you not like, is not what's my question at all. What does my body need? Provide it. That's all.
One cucumber, one radish, or something.
Anything you want. You have the luxury of time, and you can make a kosambari. You want to make a great salad in a different combination. Do what you feel like. But this is what is requirement of the body. How you make it is your job. Take responsibility of it. Please don't ask somebody else to do it. The joy of doing it for yourself and your family is immense. Believe me, trust me when I say that. When you cook, that cooking time is such a beautiful space and time that you're doing something for your loved ones, for your own health. Is such a gratifying exercise. You feel very nice, which probably today's mothers are not transferring this knowledge or the joy to their children, and children are thinking that it's a boring job to cook and boring job to eat the same thing. No, it is not. You can make it absolutely interesting.
So
and
you're
also
saying
different.
light khichdi 5 days, even if I don't want to, like, I'm okay to go back to boring but healthy if I decide to think. So 1 day khichdi, so that as a nutritionist you will be able to help the clients or the people with different menu.
I do, but let me come back to your khichdi. It can need not be boring, same thing. Let's say I'm doing khichdi every single day, 7 days, because I don't have time.
Yes.
Now, today, I will put rice and maybe green gram dal and maybe carrots and I cook my khichdi and maybe palak. Tomorrow I change the rice into millet. Tomorrow I change the green gram dal into another dal, and I'll change the vegetables. Now the color, the texture, the flavor, the taste, everything has changed.
Just the name khichdi remains.
Absolutely. This is what you need to understand.
And with a beautiful spoon of ghee on top of it. Wow.
No, stop. I'm not going to go till ghee.
No?
You have to ask me another question for that.
Ghee, they say it is very traditional, and I think I'm allowed to use 1 spoon of ghee in that beautiful khichdi that you gave me.
Right. You're talking to a whole food plant-based nutritionist.
What do you mean now?
Absolutely. As you heard, whole food plant-based. I've explained to you what whole food means. Whole means it should be wholesome. It should be as close as the plant gave it to me. I cannot keep refining it. I cannot keep processing it and expect all the nutrients to be there in that.
So are you saying you're talking about vegan food?
What has vegan to do with whole food plant-based?
Because plant is equal to vegan.
Yeah. See, this is where the whole confusion comes in. See, veganism, yeah, you can relate it, but it is not the same. See, when it comes to veganism, vegans do not use any animal product because they're compassionate towards animals.
Yes.
Right? Where I am coming from is, let me be compassionate to myself first. Right? To fix my health, to take care of my health, I will go whole food plant-based. Whole food means, I said, it has to come from the plant as the name suggests.
As close to its possible.
As close. Let me give you an example so that you understand. Now, Let me take coconut as an example.
Mm.
What did the plant give me? Coconut.
Right.
In the coconut, there will be all the 7 nutrients I mentioned in different quantities.
In just coconut, one coconut.
All 7. And that is the beauty of nature. Every plant product, every part of the plant has all the 7 nutrients, maybe less, maybe more. But I, as a human being, at different stages, keep on removing things. What can I do with coconut? The next thing I can do is maybe coconut milk.
Yes.
What did I do? I removed all the fiber from the coconut, from the what the plant gave me.
Yeah.
And what is the next step I can do with it? I'll make it into coconut oil. Right?
Yeah.
What happened when I came to oil? All the 7 were there when the plant gave me. I went on removing everything. By the time it became oil, all the 6 nutrients are out and there is only one nutrient called fat. This is refining. This is, processing. So from what plant gives me, the more and more I process, the more and more I lose. The more and more I lose, the more and more I get into trouble, right? So you have to have whole plant-based foods, and that is what imparts health. And because it's all plant-based, we don't use any animal sources, which your ghee also falls into.
Okay.
But if you look at the bigger picture, it doesn't stop at my health. Just by making this choice of plant-based foods, I am making an impact, positive impact on the environment, on the Mother Earth, on the life, other life, everything. It encompasses everything. It's not just veganism. This whole food plant-based is much more than veganism.
See, I would have 100% be happy to 100% whole food, plant-based food. But then today, the way the pesticides are used, the way the soils have been so ill-treated, they don't have anything in the soil for it to give nutrition to the plant. What do you think it will give me today? With it's completely laden with chemicals, with harsh synthetics. Any food you can't even directly eat. You have to put it in salt water or do something and then eat. And now there is another thing called organic food and organic vegetables, organic fruits. So much of confusion, and you are asking me to move away from any animal, which is fair, which is another school of thought. But then, how do I trust the food that I get, the plants and the vegetables and fruits that I get are even clean for me to eat?
Absolutely. That's one question which all of us need to answer. Think about it seriously, because this so-called food revolution, green revolution brought in, all of this nonsense. I remember as a child, even when I was a child, there was nothing other than organic grown. There were no inputs given. There were no fertilizers or chemicals. Nothing was on the food. But today it is. So it is your and my responsibility to change that, isn't it?
Right. How do I do sitting in a city?
Exactly. So today, even 10 years back, I had to go searching for naturally grown organic foods. They were very costly. But today, every street in Bangalore has. There is a facility which is giving organic or naturally grown food. But they're absolutely costly when compared to the conventionally grown food.
Correct.
Right?
Unfortunately, we are telling it conventional. Ideally, traditional should have been this. This should have been synthetic thing.
Today, right.
Unfortunately, we are sitting here and saying the chemical laden has become the conventional.
Yeah, that is why. So it is very important to understand by eating these foods which are toxic, on a long run, I'm ruining my life. I'm ruining my health. So instead of suffering, then putting money into diagnosis, doctors, dietitians, and the rest, let me put that money into the right quality of food now so that I don't go through all of this.
So your recommendation is like, yes, it is expensive, but still it is a better investment.
Absolutely. See, if I and you demand organic or naturally grown, non-toxic food, will a farmer change at the other end? If I continue to eat this toxic food, when will this revolution happen? When will this change come in? Only when this generation is ready to pay more and bring in this revolution at the farmer's end, that they have to realize, no, this is not the way to grow food. Nobody is asking my food. Let me remove all the chemicals. Let me get rid of all of this because I can get more money. And one generation, if we can tolerate paying this, our children will have a better, clean food to eat, and they'll be better off with health.
A
also.
good day to come.
Yeah.
But today, there is also a talk. How do I know it's organic?
Absolutely, right.
It all both looks almost same.
Yeah.
If you see, given actually this looks much more brighter, fresher. Maybe that it's an indication. But assume this is not very. Both are. I will not know. I'm paying more. Yes, I'm okay to invest. But do I know this is a good food? Organic food
Yeah.
doesn't have chemical. How do I know as a consumer?
See, as a thumb rule, you will never have anything which is naturally grown or organically grown, which is uniform in color, shape, or size.
Okay.
If they are not grown in an organic way or a natural way.
Okay.
They are absolutely, it feels as if it is all made. Yeah, your mouth might water, the colors may be very attractive, but they are not the right things. Because of the inputs, they have become like that. But naturally grown foods will not look like that, is one thumb rule. But that you cannot, guarantee that. But to buy a car, don't you do a lot of research for months together? Which car to buy and what all your requirements you have.
See, I agree. 5 years once I do that. Worst case, 1 lakh kilometer or every day.
Yeah.
But this is something which I have to do every day.
No, not really. This is the myth which people have. The public have and they fear for it. No, it is only one-time exercise.
How?
In your area, find out every person who is giving organic. Go and find out why he is doing it. Today it has become a money-making machine, right?
Yes.
Because organic, people, you say organic, natural, then people are ready to buy, right?
Yes.
So go and do your research. Who is authentic? Where can you get your authentic food? You'll do all the research for everything else. For that food which take care of your health and life and your family, don't you have to do that small exercise
Definitely.
of finding out what is the right food, who is selling that? Once you know, okay, from here I buy rice, from there I buy my vegetables, from here I buy my green leafy vegetables, then where is the need to do it again?
So beautiful. But then our procrastination, laziness is what?
Yeah.
Because today we are ordering.
Yes.
I don't even go step out and have a conversation with the fruit vendor or a vegetable vendor. I don't have a relationship with him. I don't speak to him because I give him money, he gives me this.
Yeah.
I don't ask unless there is a very fancy, well-lit stores which sell organic. Then I don't ask many questions. I just trust the brand and then go buy that.
Correct.
That is one way. Either if you're even... That is also okay. That's what you're saying. Even
it is important. It is not about a fancy store or they're selling on the footpath. Many times, small farmers don't have a big store to sell. They don't have a certification.
Right.
They're selling their produce on the footpaths for just a few rupees. I have known organic farmers where they cannot sell their products, that finally they go and put it in their mandi. They have done so much of work to produce that small little thing, but they don't get the value for what they have done. Generally, it is the middlemen who get the complete benefit for that matter everywhere. But yeah, it is very important to take that step for my health, for my family's health. I am not taking care of my neighbor's health. I am doing it for myself.
My family.
That me, myself, at least here, if we can reiterate, I think a lot of changes happen from the actionable point of view. I will do it.
One interesting information when I was trying to understand you and your podcast, I heard where you mentioned rice itself, it should be the husk removed and you should just have it. Not
Absolutely.
the polished one.
That is what is called whole.
Can you
What
explain?
did the plant give you? Plant gave you paddy.
Yes.
We can't eat paddy because we can't digest the paddy. So it has to be, the husk has to be, the outermost layer has to be removed. Right? The minute it is milled, Then we get the unpolished rice.
Yeah.
That unpolished rice still has fiber, has all the micronutrients. If it is further polished or processed, you've lost everything. What are you eating? Empty calories.
It is like the maida of rice.
Absolutely. That is why processing is not the right thing to do. And of course, it needs a lot of understanding. Very simple, but general understanding to know what is whole.
And as close to nature.
Yeah.
That is a great example.
Yeah.
And coconut was brilliant. Today, forget about milk. They make milk powder and give it to us. I don't even have to make a milk.
That is where the choices lie with us. The more and more we go this way, the more and more products will come into the market.
It was so eye-opening for me to know that in nutritionist also, there is whole food plant nutritionist. So what are the other types of nutritionists available?
It is not like you have a variety of nutritionists and things like that. But this was very interesting for me because I grew up in that kind of an environment.
Okay.
My father, being a biochemistry professor, his hobbies were drugless therapies, majorly nature cure and yoga.
Okay.
So I grew up in that environment where my father would teach people. Hundreds of people would come, understand, work with him, get rid of their diseases. He would arrange hundreds of lectures and workshops. All of his life he has done that, and I grew up with that. But not that I was very interested as a child or growing up. Not that I, had any value for that. It is just that I imbibed everything without my knowledge. But now that I'm continuing to do that work, after my master's, I realized, oh my God, this is completely contradicting to what I have learned.
In your childhood, what you have been seeing,
with the
what you have been fed.
Indian systems. And that is when I realized, okay, this is not complete. It is beautiful to understand nutrition science, to understand the fundamentals of human system, and the food is fantastic. And that is where we start. But we cannot stop there. We have to bring in our Indian systems of nature cure and yogic philosophy of food. I have done this combination to make it more holistic in nature and more meaningful in nature.
Okay. I'm picking up the thread from ghee. We started when I said I wanted to pour a nice hot khichdi you made and put, that is where you had. So you're saying we don't need ghee if we are eating the close to the plant.
Right. Let me just take that example and talk about it. Now, what is ghee? Where did it come from?
Milk, cow milk.
Okay.
And then curd and then butter. I converted it to butter.
So it has gone through a lot of processing. First, you understand that much?
Yes.
Right.
For sure.
So good or bad? By just that little conversation we have had, correct? It is processed.
It is
right?
processed.
That is first thing. Second thing is, if I have to take that milk out of an animal, somebody is missing it, isn't it?
Yeah, the calf, but we always...
What is the calf doing, right? Today, in animal industry, you should look at those documentaries which are made. And very recently, Sattvic Movement, people have made a beautiful, very short documentary. You have to see it. You'll have tears in your eyes. It's not tears, you'll get blood in your eyes, if you ask me. It is so saddening to see that whether a male calf or a female calf, again, factory making, to give us milk. Your little ghee on the khichdi, that animal has to suffer without the child to give us ghee, right? If it is a male child, sold for the industry, meat industry. If it is a female child, getting into making it into another milk producing animal. That's all.
But then we come from India traditionally, Vedic age. Ghee was our one thing we do in yajna, in havans.
Correct.
And for everything, we use ghee deepa, then it is abundance. And you are saying 1 spoon of ghee on my khichdi is like not okay.
Not okay in the sense of you have to look at the perspective of the cow is what I'm saying.
Yeah, earlier...
Isn't it another life?
No, I totally get it.
Yeah.
It is...
Now, let me come back and tell you. Now, it is very important. Fat is very important for the human system. I'm just coming from the science point of view right now, okay? It is very important. Fat is absolutely essential for my brain to work properly, for my nervous system to work properly.
Okay.
But the fat my body needs is wholesome fat. Just like I gave you an example of coconut. Not coconut oil, coconut.
Okay.
Similarly, we need fat sources which are wholesome and plant-based. What are those? It is coconut, copra, til, mustard,
Mm.
groundnuts, nuts, seeds, all flax seeds, all of these come from the plant. They're whole.
So you
Use
see,
them as whole as possible.
do
Come to your tradition. What did your grandmother do? Every recipe, go back and see, one of the fat sources will be there in her recipe. That is what marks the tradition. Every recipe had one whole grain, one whole dal or gram, one whole fat, which made it more wholesome, more healthier. That is what is the missing link between what was tradition and what we are eating today.
Wow, that was an amazing thing to even choose. Why oil? Instead, if it is groundnuts, is that part?
Absolutely.
Make it part of your diet and
Right.
thing.
Eat
You
one
will-
handful of groundnuts, no, or roast it and powder it and put it in anything you want. You are talking about poriyal or the palya. Now I take, let's say today I'm making carrot palya. I'll do carrot, I'll add some green leafy vegetable into it, let's say methi leaves. Carrot, methi leaves palya. On top of that, I'll either garnish it with coconut or copra or powder of til or powder of groundnut. Every day I will do the same bloody carrot and
But it
palak
tastes all
palya.
different.
But every day it is different because the seasoning I'm using, the
Yes.
garnishing I'm using is different. They're all whole. They're all different tasting, different flavors. And when people start cooking this way, I just give generalized tips. I don't sit and make every dish for them. No. But I give generalized advice where they use their creativity. And I tell them two things, they'll have made
Made
a
a-
dozen things. And it is so amazing to see how people
one
from different
big
culture.
problem, I think, is while it's all so beautiful, and actually, I just wanted to quickly implement all these things, add greens, because green has become once a week because it's so tough to clean.
Every meal, that cleaning, get somebody to do. Then you have the greens ready in your kitchen and just washing them or chopping them and putting it to anything. Dosa batter, idli batter, chapati maav,
Same.
palya, sambar, dal or kosumbari or anything for that matter. You should have enough greens, which is what adds health.
Oh, yeah, having somebody clean it is definitely makes your
That
life
is where you
easier.
have to use,
Whatever you
yeah,
make money,
what you
please
can. Yeah.
don't give
Whatever is
excuses.
necessary to, make it happen. Do it.
Correct.
But make it happen. That's
Yeah, spending a $500 extra to a help to
Yes.
clean the greens is much better than waiting in a lounge for a dermatology clinic or an oncology or anywhere.
Absolutely.
This investment every day you have to clean. I'll pay you this.
Yeah.
That is much more.
That could work for you, but for somebody that might not work. They might want somebody to completely cook, but understand the basics, see what is needed to be done, transfer that knowledge to anybody who's cooking for you. Right? Today, we pay so much for everything,
Right.
but these cooks, they're absolutely illiterate. They have no clue about food, but they know how to make tasty food.
Yes.
Correct?
Put a
They can
little
add a
extra
lot of oil or ghee,
Masala.
your ghee and masala and make a tasty meal. That's
Yes.
all. Right? Instead, understand, educate your cook
Yes.
or your maid or
Support
somebody who is taking care of your kitchen.
Mm.
It could be your mother. There are people. See, I do something called workshops, physical workshops in my home every month, more or less 3 days.
Okay.
Where people come and understand it. See, you are talking. Talking is a different level. But once you see, once you do, once you taste, then you think, oh my God, this is so simple. It is so tasty. I never thought healthy was tasty too. That if they say once, my job is done.
Yeah,
Right?
you have hooked them into something healthy.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, but then was interesting again for me. It was a thought, and hope this we will definitely make it into smaller reels, because if whoever is cooking, whether might be my mother or me or my children,
That's
if
what I
they
was coming
know
to
the
tell.
basic, and even the cooks, if they can be trained in the basic food.
Yeah, my
groups.
next eye is there. Get all these wealthy people's cooks together and train them so that they'll all become healthy. You pay so
Right.
much through your nose for so many things.
Right.
It's very, very important to get a person who understands food to cook the food. I have tried doing, a couple of times, trying to tell the cook to use less oil. Oh, they get annoyed so badly. They get frustrated. And It
No,
is
I-
natural.
I-
I've been cooking for 30 years and you want to teach me how to cook? I don't like it.
Exactly. Actually, it's my personal experience. When I had my second child, the first 2 months, it's not
Yeah.
so easy to come. So I had a cook. I just had a support. And the way oil was like, the food was floating or swimming in the
Yeah.
oil. So I couldn't continue. But when I told her, she felt very offended.
Yeah.
I've been cooking and I'd at least cook for at least 8 to 9 people. You're one
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
And you're giving me this much gyan. It was like, and I had to let go
Yeah.
because we take their support because we couldn't do, but then they instead harm.
Yeah.
And the way they make it tasty is only with oils and masalas.
Absolutely.
Put a little extra.
So this conversation has to happen when you're hiring them.
Mm.
One is your understanding. When your understanding becomes strong, then it is very easy to tell them. It is very simple. It's even more simpler than what you're doing.
But for that, everybody needs a mentor like Dr. Gauri to first. I should know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is where my job lies.
But
you
then, is there any workshop or something which you conduct so that
Yeah.
if I can join and if I am not able to cook, me and my partner or me and my cook probably can
Yeah.
come. So you do conduct.
See, I work in 3-4 verticals. First one is this personal consultation,
Mhm.
where people with different diseases and disorders come to me for reversal of diseases.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
I work with them for 4-5 weeks and help them at a personal level for their particular problem, what to do, how to do, and all of those things. And they reverse their diseases and drop off their medication and walk away.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And the other thing which I do is I have put in all of this, which I have put in a lot of hard work, learning and unlearning also in these last 30 years, where I have created a course called Holistic Nutrition Course,
Okay.
where I teach all of this together for one whole month.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a 25 hours course where people come and learn. There it is both theory and practical. Practical in the sense of I make them do it. If I say this is what is right, they will do that and they will show me the plate. So that way it is in the form of theory and practical.
So it's an online and available.
It's online because people all over the world join this. So it is an online course.
Okay.
But I have this 3-day physical workshop at my home where people physically come there and I have both theory and practicals.
And learn to make the
Excellent.
7 beautiful khichdis every day, but still different.
One day we do South Indian meal, another day we do North Indian meal, and another day we do one pot meal, which we were talking about khichdi, right?
Okay.
Similarly, one dish where they'll get an idea, we can do this also. When they get this basic ideas, then you're replicating it for somebody who can cook or who knows cooking
It
is just a simple
Cooking
thing.
is a very creative art, and
Absolutely.
food is medicine. Is where our tradition is all about that.
Yeah.
Where is your medical first aid kit? It is in the kitchen. From the turmeric to shunti, ginger to hing. These were our thing. Another major challenge today we have is a weight management. I could call it weight loss, weight gain, basically weight management. Yes, today the challenge is more on the weight, obesity. How do I lose weight? If somebody comes to you with that, how is your approach to that person?